Okay, here we go. Hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Bob DeLuca. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good. You're the president of an organization at the East End. That's the East End of Long Island, and it's called the East End Environment. Is that the name of the organization?
We're a group for the East End, and we're a 37-year-old nonprofit conservation organization, and we focus our attention on the 5 towns of eastern Long Island. And the work that we're involved in is primarily public education about environmental issues, and we also are involved in direct public advocacy to try to advance the cause of conservation across the 5 East End towns.
Okay. Wait, what do you mean the 5 East End towns? What towns are those?
Basically, it's the towns of Southampton, Riverhead, East Hampton, Southold, and Shelter Island.
Oh, okay. But within those towns, well, I know I've got a place out in Montauk, and we're part of East Hampton, I believe.
Sure. Yep, you are.
So you have it from the tip, or some people say the end, and some people say the beginning, all the way down to, well, and around. I mean, Riverhead goes a little bit around the bay there too, right?
Sure, all the way back to Wading River and Calverton to the west, and Eastport on the western boundary of the town of Southampton, all the way out to Montauk and Orient Point on the east end of the North Fork.
Now, you said 37 years. So now, who started this? Why did you start it? And what are you guys doing?
Well, I've been here about 17 years, but long before me, there was roughly a couple of dozen people who came together back in 1972 and realized that a couple of things that we now sort of take for granted. One was that the East End economy was largely driven by the natural resources that were around us, so fishing and farming and tourism, second home resort industry, and they dedicated themselves to protecting those resources in a way that would keep this part of Long Island viable as a healthy and sustainable environment, like almost 40 years ago, and we've been at it ever since.
Okay, well, one of the beauties of it out there, and we're very environmental, we do a show called The Water Hour. I don't know if you're aware, we do like 40, we've done about 40 hours on that. We help create Nature Series, help create the United Nations International Decade of Water. So living out there, when I moved out there, got a place out there, I remember them telling me in Montauk that only 20% of the land was occupied with housing. So I know that the whole East End is quite conscious of environmental concerns, aren't they?
Absolutely, and I think Montauk is one of the greatest examples of a preservation partnership between, the federal government, the state of New York, Suffolk County, and the town of East Hampton, where roughly 65 to 70% of Montauk is protected in parkland and preserves in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't extend throughout all of the East End, but there's been a tremendous effort over the last at least 20 years or so to try to make an investment in protecting open spaces and protecting wetlands and waterways. Now,
you have an event happening this weekend. It's Alec, Baldwin, Nicole Miller, STAVROS, Niarchos, and Ecofabulous, VIPs, head for the East for Ecofabulous. If it's not fabulous, you are if it's not, sorry.
It's not fabulous like us. We think it will be fabulous.
It's got to be fabulous. See, with people out there like that, they invented the word fabulous out there.
That's right. You blend it all together. We've got the eco and we've got the fabulous, and that's hopefully what our event will be. It's a major fundraiser for the organization. It can be as much as half of our annual income, and it's being held this year at the Wolfer Estate Vineyard in Sagaponack on Saturday, June 20th. And we're very lucky this year to have the help of several local chefs, Todd Jacobs, Jerry Hayden, Tom Shadell, Michael Ross, and Claudia Fleming, and along with our auction host, Alec Baldwin, and our honorary dinner host, Nicole Miller. So we've got a real great crowd of people there. We're hoping that the weather's been a little sketchy, but we're hoping that it will clear up for us, and we'll be ready to go.
Well, I want to commend your organization by far. I want to learn a little bit more about it, but I'm going to just throw something out with regard to Alec Baldwin being such a team player in the world. He's puts himself out there. We've interviewed him a few times, and he's always out to be helpful. I mean, he could stay home, right? He doesn't have to come out.
Absolutely, and I think people that know out here, he gets involved in a lot of issues, local issues. He's spending a lot of time, trying to do what he can to protect the environment out here. He's been helpful to us and very supportive of conservation work across the East End.
And I'm sure he's a little bit funny every once in a while too, right?
He's always funny, yeah.
And Nicole Miller too. Beautiful
And she's
touch.
terrific too. You know, Nicole has been a member of our organization for a long time, and again, just another great, kind of local resident who helps us out and cares a lot about the protection of this region.
It's beautiful. So now I'm looking at your website, okay, audience here, eastendenvironment.org. So tell us literally what, we talked about the location, we talked about a lot of support from the community. What do you guys literally do?
Okay, the two basic areas where we work are in the area of education and community action. So every year we've got several thousand kids that participate in our programs. We do outdoor field education programs. We do classroom education programs. We also do direct community action work where we do habitat restoration and beach stabilization, and we plant native plantings in areas that have been disturbed. And so we give people an opportunity to participate, directly in protecting the environment around them. The other side of what we do is civic advocacy. So we're involved in looking at planning issues, development issues. We review proposed development plans that come into planning boards and zoning boards, and we offer comments, speaking for the environmental side of the equation. We also get involved in the development of legislative initiatives like the Community Preservation Fund, which was a major effort to protect land out here and has generated about $500 million in land protection. And we support other initiatives that are out there, which will help to support the East End economy, which is based on a healthy environment.
With today's tremendous interest, the word green has taken on a whole different proportion here, as well as concerns with the global warming kinds of things that people speak about, and they talk a lot about the water and are we going to be swimming out there on the East End? And no. Well, how are you guys thinking in that regard?
Well, one of the things that we're looking at, and in fact, I just did a program out in Montauk probably about a month and a half ago looking at shoreline issues and coastal zone management. And one of the big issues we need to think about is, how do we manage our shoreline communities, both in terms of issues related to storms and related to global warming. And I think what we find is that we are going to have to start planning for, the inevitable that there seems to be more water and less land. And we got to start that process now before there's a crisis that sets in. And so working on what we call post-storm recovery planning is a way to sort of set the stage for the future of how we build and where we build our coastal communities in a way that allows people to be safe and also maintains the integrity of natural resources. And that's going to be a very big job, not just on the east end of Long Island, but across all of Long Island and
Sure.
the coastal areas. And so we are trying to work on that, and we're trying to see what we can do in the process to increase people's awareness about how the activities that they do every day on their own property can also either help or harm the environment, and give them alternatives which are sort of more sustainable over the long haul. One of the issues that we're involved in a lot is clean water, obviously. Mm-hmm. And we try to look at issues like pesticide and fertilizer management, and how do we manage our own properties in a way where we're not sending pesticides and fertilizers down the street and into some local harbor where they don't do much good. So we've got a lot of issues with that. We've seen a lot of development over the last 15 years out here, and now that we're all here, we need to basically live in a way that mirrors the importance of the natural resources that are out here, which in a sense are the infrastructure that we really have. We don't have a giant sewer someplace, and we don't have a giant reservoir. We get the water from beneath our feet, and basically we have to remember that as we work and walk around on the land above it.
Okay, well, I wonder if in salination plant out that way, would that make any sense, Bob?
Well, I know not all that much about desalination. One of the things I do know is that it tends to be a pretty expensive way to try to create clean water. It seems that for the near term anyway, our best bet is to manage the underground water supply that we have, which means if we take care of the water supply that we have, it'll probably last for a good long time. We just have to make sure that we don't dump things down the drain, and that we always remember that in a sense we're walking on top of the reservoir that we drink from. And if we keep that in mind, we're going to be a little bit more careful about how we apply our pesticides or fertilizers or the things that we put down the drain, and that will probably help us, hopefully, more than having to pay for a desalination plant.
Mm-hmm. And then I think a good lesson that maybe happened with that Lake Montauk, I think, became a saltwater, right? It was a freshwater, and somehow we got a lot of Atlantic Ocean around us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
and it kind of went in there, I believe, at some
Well,
point.
it's interesting. Montauk itself faces more than some areas concern about water. I think there's about 15 wells that serve Montauk, and from time to time, you have to keep the fresh water coming in from the mainland of East Hampton to make sure that we don't get too much salt water in the public wells. So it is an ongoing management issue we got to pay attention to.
It's all beautiful out there, and we want to keep it there for lives and lives and lives and future lives. And an organization like you, I commend for focusing on this. This is what it takes. It takes teamwork and education and knowledge, and I want to thank you very much. Let me ask you the last question here. What's good news for Bob DeLuca?
Hey, what's good news for me?
Yeah.
A sunny day on Saturday would be great news for me.
That's a beautiful thing, so you can have a beautiful, fabulous day.
That's right. That'll make it truly fabulous.
Okay. Well, I look forward to meeting you personally. Where are you physically located?
We have an office in Bridgehampton, and we have an office in the town of Southold. So if you ever get out this way, or when you are out this way,
sure,
feel free to give me a call, and we'll catch up.
Okay, great, Bob. Thanks for taking the time, and best of luck with the event.
Thank you very much, and have a great day.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.